cute. Love that. Love it. So now I have this super comfy, like, there's nothing on back, but like, so the what you call it, sweatshirt from the NaNoWriMo. It arrived, and so soft and so cozy. It's gonna be so nice to wear while working in November. Excited. So, let's see. What is the theme of this week? So yeah, it is planning your time, basically. Planning how to carve out like the space and time in order to be doing this insanity in November. And I'm lucky in that regard. My family situation is simply that I am completely free to do that. I have warned my family that I do live with that I'm gonna be doing this insane thing, and they are actually quite excited about it. So I am thinking about maybe write, maybe like make a sign or something to like basically put up being like, warning, this person is writing, so for your own safety do not disturb. So how are you guys holding up? I'm like, I am, as I've said a bajillion times before, I am insanely excited for November. It's gonna be like, so much fun. I'm still like working on the world building. Like, I do realize that the world building is going to take a lot more time than just these 2 months. Like, because I am writing a fantasy novel with core characters. I say again, but like, it's about female pirates in a fantasy world. Although I mean, obviously I'm going to be basing a lot of on Earth because that's where I live, that's what I know. There are still things that, I'm gonna need to make and decide, like what kind of, like the world structure, what languages they speak, who are the people, what are their culture, their customs, why are they doing the things that they do. So world building, I do realize, takes a lot of time, and I am not going to fully create this world for this rough draft. The way I'm looking at it is that this first draft that I'm going to be making in November is simply, it's not just going to be a rough draft of the story itself and getting to know the characters. It's also going to be discovering the world, because I can make all the decisions that I want. Like, I can write lists, I can decide on this, decide on that, which is a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong, it is a lot of fun. But when it comes to the writing, that's gonna be, it's gonna be a discovery. Like, this first draft, these first 50,000 words, hopefully, are going to be the discovery draft. Yeah, I read the statistics. Like, statistically speaking, first time doing nano, the percentages just isn't in my or our favor. So it's what, 15% of people who participate in nano do actually finish, they do actually win. So I am fully cognizant of the fact that the likeliness of me actually managing to finish isn't that high. I'm still going to do my best. Like, I've already given myself permission that I'm allowed to fail. I'm aiming to win, but I'm allowed to fail. And the first thing is simply that I'm going to be participating. That's like, I already feel like I've won in that regard. But also because I'm working on this idea, this concept that I've been carrying around for 20 years. That's like, finally, it's time. Do it. So yeah, I'm writing a fantasy novel about pirates, about female pirates, and how they accidentally save their world while looking for their queen. It kind of follows that one of the most important settings is going to be the sea and, their ship. So I do not have a lot of experience with ships, let alone ships that would be something that my pirates would be using, what they would be sailing. So I got this book. I got this book, and because I need all the help that I can get with figuring these things out. So cool. I do feel like oh, what's another one? Oh, actually, here's. Okay. But yeah, this is yes another book that is going to be like my anchor, my sanity in November. It's gonna be so much cool. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. So it is this book, Pirate World, Golden Age of Piracy. This one is gonna be very, very helpful. But there is one book that I've had for years, and it's one of the main reasons why I haven't gone insane in the past years. Which I know is an extremely dramatic way of putting it, but I reread this book I don't know how many times. Like, I love this book. This one. The Tough Guide to Fantasyland by Deanna Wynne Jones. And I absolutely love this book. It is sarcastic, it's a bit of a parody, but it's a loving parody. Like, this book would not have been written if Deanna Wynne Jones did not love fantasy, but it's I mean, you may be familiar with TV tropes, and this does definitely predate. Actually, don't quote me on that. This book was first published in the UK in 1996, and I have no idea when TV Tropes, the webpage, was first launched. But this is essentially in that kind of like same vein. TV Tropes in a fantasy book format. Basically, it deals with, or you know, it's a travel guide to Fantasyland, and it does like mention all the tropes, all the memes, and some of the cliches that do and have throughout the years appeared in fantasy novels, such as, you know, caravans, castles, hardship, because you cannot have a fantasy story without hardship. And essentially this book is like, oh, so you are a traveler to Fantasyland, you, the reader. Just like when you pick up any fantasy novel and insert yourself in, or you know how it is, you're reading a story and you basically enter the world, and this book runs with it. And this is your travel guide, it's your ticket to the Fantasyland, and it explains everything to do with why Fantasyland is the way it is. It's funny, it's right up my alley. It has, I'm not lying, it has kept me sane throughout the years, through various situations, let's say. I love this book, so if you haven't read it. So looking for that one book, I rediscovered this one, the Writer's Complete Fantasy Reference, which is a more serious. I mean, it does treat the same material as the Tough Guide, but this one is like, it's more serious. It's more like writers centric type of thing. I know words, I can speak. Oh, this was first published in 2001, so this is 20 years old. Anyway, so again, I'm writing fantasy, so this might be helpful actually. Ooh, it does deal with like world cultures. So anyway, yet another book. Now, as for writing, I mean, this past week has been interesting. It's been quite a bit to do at work. There have been family issues, let's just say. There's been, well, at least one pleasant surprise, like, woo! So as for writing, I haven't been doing as well as I would prefer, but I have written some. So hopefully this is gonna be a good exercise for November, because this week has been interesting. So I can't remember if I told you last time, but my self-imposed challenge for October has been to write 4 short stories, and my intention was to write short stories based on the novel that I'm going to be writing in November. That failed, like spectacularly. I got crippled by the blank page, and I'm like, thought I was better prepared. Hey, which is definitely telling me what I need to do now in October before November hits, so that I don't have this problem. Because as soon as I sat down yesterday, it's Saturday, I'm filming this on Sunday. As soon as I sat down on Saturday and just decided I'm gonna write now, I managed about 1100 words in like about half an hour, so I think that's pretty good. I am perfectly aware that I need to be very, very well prepared for November in order to keep that momentum up. Because, I mean, we're gonna need to write 1667 words every day in order to reach our goal, and preferably like a little bit more for like the days when something comes up and we maybe can't always hit our goal. But another self-imposed challenge that I gave myself in September, I believe we started. I've been writing a file on my computer with. I challenged myself to think up collectively 300 writing prompts, and when I'm having a dry spell, I literally just sit down and say, okay, you don't get to move until you've found like at least 5 writing prompts to put down. And the way I'm doing it is I'm doing it in Scrivener. I made 6 categories. It is fantasy, sci-fi, horror, mystery, romance, and general. I mean, general for all the things that I can't quite shove into the other 5 categories, and in each category it's 50 writing prompts. And so far I am roughly about halfway done, so I think that's going pretty good. Are the prompts any good? I don't know. I mean, they're giving me ideas, so I don't know. But yeah, that's what I've been trying to get up to this past week. Still on the world building. Like, the sketch that I was starting on last weekend, I haven't really worked on it. Like, I mean, I put the islands down a lot, but I'm thinking about remaking it in Incarnate. I'm just thinking about remaking it in Incarnate so I can make it look pretty and then have it as a background on my computer, because I found that, I mean, I made maps on Incarnate before, and currently I do have one of my own as background on my computer, and having it in front of my eyes, it is really helpful to basically position myself with that one. So I want to make this one into an Incarnate map and then save it as a background, so I can always know where my characters are. At least the world that I made for them is gonna be like. So that's me this week. I really hope that you're able to carve out some time that in preparation for November, so that you can just settle down in your own corner and focus on writing. And yeah, I think that's enough for me this week. I will definitely be back next week and still yattering on about writing. It's fun. So yes, I hope you are doing well, and I will see you next time, okay? Bless, bless.